All right, guys. Hey, good morning. Thank you very much. The sun is just peeking up the horizon behind you and perfectly into my eyes. The cows are waking up. The calves are already playing chase this morning. They're like, it's wonderful cold and damp this morning. Like, let's go play. And you can smell this corn behind. Oh, that wet. Look how gorgeous that corn looks. Oh my, yeah. What a wonderful, wonderful year for corn. So we used the Source product. First of all, it was a very simple product to use. It was clean, it was easy, it's a low use rate, you don't need a ton of storage. It's a single, on the corn side, it's a single component. You just dump in what you need and go, and it worked well through the equipment. There's other products we used throughout the years that the one product was it did the most to the soil I've ever seen of any product, but I couldn't use it because it wouldn't go through the planter liquid system very well. It'd plug the screens, and same on the sprayer, plug the screen. So if I can't use the product, I'm not buying the product. And we're at 1 ounce to the acre, so 1 little gallon jug covers 128 acres. So I just measured the jug in half, put a mark, dumped in my half, cover the first 64 acres, and go that route. Worked very simple. It would be nice if they gave you a little 10-ounce vial as an option if you wanted to break out some acres, you know, and do smaller trials. But otherwise, the product's simple, easy, clean kind of deal. So the first year with any product like this, I don't make any changes to the system. Let's throw it in. Did we create a response or not? Did we get a yield response? Did we get a soil response? Did we get a plant response? Whatever. Let's look for a positive. You know, any product that you buy, you already want it to work, so you do your best. And sometimes on some of these products, you do an over application just to see if you can trigger a response. Year 2, year 3 is when you're running a whole lot of different scenarios to start to work with the manufacturer claims. So year 1, we came out here, we threw it in on V4 with our foliar feed. We put it in with that blend, and it worked very well. So then we came back at tassel, ears were starting to fill, and around that brown silk time, right before we sprayed with the drone, we came out and we pulled some soil tests. Now, before Dan came here, all summer long he had been sending me pictures of corn and beans where you could see the check and the treated area, very dramatic differences. And like 55 miles an hour down the road, you could see the line between treated and check. And then the soil tests, they had little differences. So he comes here, we're sitting at the end of the field with the GPS in the tractor saying, this is the line between check and treated, and both of us are standing there, and I could have given anybody $5,000 to say, walk down the headland and you tell me where that check starts and stops, and there wouldn't have been anybody in the world. You couldn't see it even though you're sitting at the GPS staring at it. You didn't know you were staring at it. So the check was lacking nothing. The check was having a AAA plus year. So then he's like, well, let's just dig up the root balls. I'll show you. So we dug up several plants from each area. The most insignificant difference, I would say a pretty statistical tie on root development, plant development, and ear development. And I'm like, well, there you go. Already proved I didn't get my money's worth. And he says, well, let's pull some soil tests. So he pulled a bunch of soil tests from each area, and they came back with 7 pounds of potassium, 23 pounds of phosphorus, and 44 pounds of nitrogen to the treated side. That is a win. And that's why I say that the Sound Agriculture Source product is a win for me. It's already paid me back, even though we have not got to yield yet. I've got other fields that we got some check areas to check yield on, that we didn't check soil on. On this field, I don't know if you would see a significant response from the check to the treated, because the check is doing so well. How much better can you do? The other point is that the treated area became a scenario of just over application. think about it, we just replaced over 150 pounds of dry fertilizer with 1 ounce. 1 ounce of a stimulant product. I think that dramatic result is because the stuff I got from Dorel works with Source very well. Without them two knowing each other, me in the middle bringing these things together, it created just a wonderful scenario, I think. And so it clearly paid off. We really moved that soil a lot without buying a whole lot of P and K. And that's the point of regenerative agriculture. And I think thinking about the soil tests, on the areas where Dan had showed me a significant crop response but not a significant soil response, to me as just a dumb farmer, I'm thinking that Source made this stuff available. So that cook kept refilling the buffet line, but them plants on the treated side never left the buffet line. They were just eating and eating and eating. And so it makes me wonder, next year, let's pull a soil test, but let's pull a plant test as well, a sap test as well. So then we can say, hey, on paper, it only moved 1 or 2 points, but on the plant, it moved significant on the sap of the plant, and that would confirm that the plant is just inhaling everything that Source is making available. And so in that scenario, you might see a significant yield response, or it actually did nothing. You can't please 100% of the people all the time. We'll do a whole lot of testing next year. I don't get paid for Source. I don't sell Source yet. If it works next year as good as it worked this year, or if it works good next year, you know, this year we put $1 out and got $3 to $4 back. To me, call me weird, but that's a very good success. I'll do a bunch of tests next year. If it wins again, I will be selling this product, because just like the cattle equipment, we brought that first chute home, you're like, man, this thing is just as good as anything anybody else on the market has to offer, but it's at a very price point, much, compared to an Arrowquip, we are significantly less money, but we are everything they have to offer. And so we started selling them because we're like, hey, I really like this. It's a great product. It's easy to use, blah, 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 blah. I like the product. I can stand behind the product. And if this Source turns out to be the same way, who knows what's going to happen with that BW Fusion test plot. If that turns out the same way, in a couple years, I might be a little fertilizer dealer up here. I don't know. But yeah, so that's how I'll go out on a limb and say, without even testing yield, Source is a significant win for us this year, just on the amount that it moved our soil forward in fertility. And yeah, so now the only thing we need to do is next year, once the crop is in, is pull a soil test again, because we've got the check on GPS. And so next spring, it'd be interesting to pull another soil test and say, did that nutrient availability last throughout the winter, or did the winter with reducing or slowing down biology and then biology waking back up with this really hard dry fall we're having, what happened to that availability? We're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're just getting the testing going. We got a lot to do, but guys, hey, I'll keep this one really short and sweet. Thank you very much for watching.